Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Exotic Car Hacks video. And in breaking news today, you may have heard that there is a ship somewhere on some ocean somewhere. I don't know which ocean. I don't do very well with like geography, and that was never my thing. But apparently, there is now confirmation that over 4,000 cars were sitting on this ship, and it is possible that they're all basically now lost as a result of a fire that could have been either started or somewhere by somebody, and the ship could be sinking at any time with all these cars on it. Now, there's two things that, came to mind when I heard this. The first one is, as someone who orders cars, and I'm sure there's plenty of Porsches. I think there's over 1,000 Porsches on that, boat. As someone who orders cars, I felt bad. I felt bad because some of us take 6 to 7 months waiting for these cars. And I know some of you are like, yeah, boo-hoo, first world problems, whatever, man. So your Porsche is sinking. Well, let me just confirm this. I don't have a Porsche sinking. So if for 1 second you thought my Porsche was on that boat, you were wrong. So don't get too excited. What I'm saying is that these cars are sinking, and I feel bad for anyone that's waited 7 months only to get hit with this disappointing news. So that was the terrible, I want to say that. The second part that I thought was incredibly bizarre is that Matt Farah, a very well-known person in the car world, has mentioned that his Porsche Boxster was on that boat, and it was a custom-made Boxster for 120 grand. And that was just weird because he said the Porsche Boxster was the greatest sports car of all time or something. And so it took me like 20 minutes to really think that true, because I was like, why would Matt Farah think that a Porsche Boxster is the greatest sports car of all time? I mean, if you follow their other segment, I basically said that no dignified human would ever buy a Porsche Boxster, let alone gift one to anybody. But I just thought that was really bizarre. So that kind of confused me as to what was worse news, that Matt Farah thought that the Porsche Boxster was the greatest sports car of all time, or that 4,000 vehicles were now going to be sinking at the bottom of the ocean instead of being in driveways somewhere. So that was a problem. And on that boat, obviously it was a Volkswagen boat, so there was also Lamborghini models and Volkswagen models. And what occurred from this kind of event is that people at this point believe that this inventory will be lost and it won't be recovered. I don't know if the ship's sinking or what's happening, but what I will say is here's where it becomes an Exotic Car Hacks issue: is how will this impact the entire ecosystem of supply chain when there's already such a shortage across the board? Well, historically, you would probably think that this is legitimately basically 6 months. I would say realistically, probably 3 full months of lost inventory. So, if you are running into Porsches or Bentleys and had ordered cars, it's very likely that now these orders are getting pushed back even further. But it's going to really depend on how Volkswagen wants to handle this situation, because they're going to have to decide if these people who are on the ship will get priority and get these cars expedited, meaning they get new cars made and there's an expedition of getting these cars here faster, or they're just starting by giving someone an allocation and putting it back in the queue as the next available car rather than do anything. But nonetheless, this is going to either delay these people another 6 to 8 months to getting their cars, and it's going to delay regular production 3 months by injecting all of this back in. So if you've been following my market updates on what I'm talking about the market, is I've been mentioning time and time again that there's going to be a significant decrease in demand coming in the middle of the year. So, and this decrease in demand has several factors, from inflation to the war possibly breaking out, the stock market going down, cryptocurrency pricing going down. So all these things have basically this perfect storm of slowing people down. Child tax credit ended, they're no longer renewing the student loan forgiveness programs. So you have all these things that basically are forcing people to get back to a reality of paying their bills. and there's not going to be that disposable income, and so demand will slow down. Now, my counter argument was also the supply isn't ramping up or isn't going to be met with a match to the demand where that's the equilibrium in price. Instead, you're still going to see demand outdo, despite falling over 50%, will still outdo the supply chain of what's available. The argument here that we're making is that I don't think that this incident specifically isolated is going to change the dynamic of the supply chain other than just simply slow it down for the Volkswagen Group, which controls, I would say, the majority of the cars out there. But it is still going to continue to be yet one more thing to add to the table of what prevents supply from even trying to come back. And so I think if you've followed any of the things I've been talking about, then you know already and are very familiar with the fact that some cars are going to start seeing decreases. And these decreases are not going to happen where cars are going to drop from 300 to 200 to 100 and the world's collapsing. What you're going to start seeing is a decrease where if the new baseline for a car went from 200 to 300 due to COVID supply chain issues, that car is now going to start depreciating instead of continuing to appreciate up, providing and creating a great opportunity all around to having a normalized and healthy car market, not one that's enraged to just keep going up. However, we have also seen that with the influx of money because of inflation into the exotic car markets, we are now starting to realize that I think people are starting to accept that there are some cars that aren't coming back down, meaning there's a new norm for what cars are worth. There's a historical change in the markets as to what's happening with gated cars, old cars, V12s, and so on and so forth, and those cars are going to still stand strong where they are and continue to appreciate as volume continues to disappear and so on and so forth. We're going to identify such cars, like as an example, the LP640 that just about 6 months ago was 180 grand for a really nice Roadster. Now a really nice Roadster is basically non-existent on the market, and those that do appear expect somewhere between 280 and 310. Do I think that car will come back down to like 180 like it once was? And the short answer of it is no, and the long explanation is also no. And so that's basically how the whole model works. Now, one final thing, if Matt Farah ever wants to debate why he believes the Porsche Boxster is the greatest sports car of all time, I know he's got money to buy something better, so I don't understand why that comment would even appear. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, it's like me saying a Kia is like the best SUV like ever made. Yeah. Anyways, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let me know, do you think that a boat sinking in the ocean was because there was a conspiracy to drown all the Boxsters on that boat? Or why are you laughing, Reggie? Why you always gotta laugh in the middle of a video? You always ruin the video. I don't understand. Like, people deserve to know. You know, if they're Porsche Boxster, they're dignified. Their dignified situation. Their dignified situation. I don't want to feel bad for people. I'm just saying, if you drive a Porsche Boxster, maybe there's a conspiracy. Some guy on that boat was like, we can't let these cars hit the shores. All the Miami players will be out there pretending to be rich, driving South Beach. And then we can't let that happen. Rental companies will be overwhelmed. And then the end of Turo will arrive. So like, these are the reasons why no dignified human drives a Porsche Boxster. So anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next episode, and let me know if you believe it was a conspiracy that they sank this boat because of all the Boxsters on the boat. And I'll catch you next time in another Exotic Car Hacks video.